Hello, it's April 27. It's Monday. Before I turn on the camera, I did a little quieting down. I was thinking of that verse, "Be still and know that I am God." And I repeated to myself very slowly. And it's a prayer of sorts. I did that in order to center, to slow my mind down, and to improve the chances that I would be speaking from the true self, which is hard to do when your mind is spinning with 1,000 thoughts, just daily thoughts. I was informed by my friend Steve that I've got a few issues with my previous video, True Self Part 2, and that there's an error and a few issues with it. So I thought I would run through that with you. The easy mistake, or the obvious mistake, was that Psalm 46:3 is not "Be still and know that I am God." That's verse 10. So I said it was verse 3 in the other previous video. And another mistake is Psalms is not in the Torah. It's in the Old Testament, it's in the Hebrew Bible, but it's not in the Torah. The Torah is contained within the Hebrew Bible, but Psalms is not within the Torah. It's elsewhere in the Hebrew Bible. Steve pointed that out. Well, those are sort of minor things, but I know some of my friends would have picked up on that, so I thought I'd mention it. More important is a few of these statements that I made. The first one is, I said in the video, "It will change your life and there is no going back." Steve thought that making a sweeping statement like that doesn't leave any room for the viewer. That I make a statement that this is how it's going to be and there's no varying from that. And some people would shut down when they heard a kind of statement like that. Well, what would have been a better way to say that is, it was my experience that discovering the true self changed my life and there was no going back for me. There you go. Well, that again is the way I experienced it. That is not necessarily going to be your experience. Or if you already had a waking up experience, it may not have been the experience that you had. That right preceding that or at the same time was a big letting go. And the other thing is, there are a lot of different kinds of letting go. And it means different things to different people. So when I make a statement like that, that preceding waking up experiences or discovering the true self is a large letting go experience. They're tied together. That statement is too limiting and it doesn't leave any space. I'm going to have to do a whole video on letting go because it's so important. I feel that the act of letting go is so closely tied to awakening that they're inseparable. Also, there's a funny thing, an odd thing about letting go. The act of letting go, not the concept, has a threshold in it. Last thing, let's see. Oh, okay. Here's a problem, I think. Steve said, I'll read it. He says, and at the end, when you arrive, I'm left hanging as to what the destination might be in terms of description. I realize it defies description, hence the reason it has to be experienced, but you may in the future want to make sure you wrap things up for the viewer because they may not experience or understand what you have. And at the end, when you arrive, I'm left hanging as to what the destination might be in terms of description. All right, well, that to me is a concern, because I thought that the video, True Self Part 2, was you and I going there together so that you could experience it, because I can't tell you what that's like. It's not a place of form. It's not a concept or an idea. The waking up to the true self has to be experienced. So Steve thought that when I arrive, that I left you hanging. That inner journey, so to speak, that I was making did not transfer through the camera, and that I need to wrap it up in terms of description. I don't know what to do about that. Let me think about that. That was the reason I did that video, True Self Part 2. Because I thought that you could just go with me. I would speak my thoughts and you would go with me. Okay. Well, that's about it. That was the addendum to True Self Part 2.